This video is about the Igbo landing, and for whatever reason, when I started my phone to record this video, my ears started ringing, and this is a recurring problem. Anyway, the Igbo landing, 1803, St. Simon's Island. Remember Simon Peter in the Bible? Certainly there's some kind of connection here. So basically, this story is known by planters and slavers, and the Igbos themselves were known by planters and slavers of the South for being fiercely independent and resistant to chattel slavery. Just like the British when they occupied Nigeria, they called the Igbos argumentative. Okay, and of course they occupied people all over the world. It's just like with Martin Luther King, who looks like an Igbo, and so on and so forth. Where these are the civil rights guys that the colonists hate the most. All right, so these slaves on the ship were bought by John Cooper and Thomas Spalding. Reminds me of the basketball Spalding, and it goes back to the hand of God and palming the ball, right? Palm trees and their significance to the slave trade and to the occult and so on and so forth. All right. Of course, you have Palmyras, right? In Palmyra, where the Temple of Bel was in the Roman Empire. So basically, the high Igbo chief was among these people who had captured the ship and overthrew it. Or a high Igbo chief, rather, you know. No, now I have to start over this piece of shit. No, I'll just keep going. It's a high Igbo chief, okay? Not the high Igbo chief. No high-ranking Igbos were taken here to America as slaves. You know, so a high-ranking Igbo chief was among them and walked in unison to the creek singing in the Igbo language. The water spirit brought us. The water spirit will take us home. They thereby accepted the protection of their god Chukwu and death over the alternative of slavery. Okay, so why did these people, who were Igbo warriors, okay, accept, that's how they're described by the Smithsonian website, why did they accept death over slavery? You know, a lot of people are fucking too stupid to see why that is, because this is the route of somebody who's loyal to God. They're not going to let people who don't worship the one true God take them into slavery. And this is why when Igbos converted to Christianity, you know, upwards of 90% of them are Christian, they still called God Chukwu because they're referring to the one true God. All right, and there's a lot of things that affect, right, assimilating certain pagan religious practices like Easter and blah, blah, blah. And this is what the church did. And so to Christianity, to a bunch of, you know, barbarians, to a bunch of evil people, to a bunch of pirates, it basically means an excuse to be a pirate and God will forgive them. Christianity, to people that actually value morality in the martial art order, it actually means that God actually cares about you committing sins and you're better off being a martyr than to go to church and pretend you get forgiven for your sins. You know? Anyway, so Chukwu had 5 main characteristics. He's the first force. Now this goes back to the difference between Ra and Re. There's some witchcraft bitches that were put to death by the Igbos. They were taboo. They were evil. Right? Igbo culture, as accepted by the masses now, is New World Order bullshit. But back then, before colonialism really took over the Igbo land, witches were put to death. Right? People who didn't respect Chukwu were put to death. Right? Magic card bitches did not have any power. Masons didn't have any power. Okay. So Chukwu was the first force. To the magic card bitches, it's just like Ray, the light rays, right? All, pan, right? Rape cult bitches, Chukwu is everything and anything, okay? To the people who actually believe in God, Chukwu is the core, okay? He is the source, the moral and righteous force of the sun, okay? It is the core of the spirit realm, God as that being, that core being. It's not a coincidence. We'll get into the why this is about the spirit of the period. The Igbo people themselves represent the core of humanity, the heart of humanity. We'll get into that in the next video. Anyway, number 2, Ananwu, the sun revealing things. Right? Obviously, this is another person's explanation. Okay, the nuances in this kind of the explanations are greater than one might think. Okay, there's also an aspect of the fertility of the earth. There's also an aspect of the chi spirit guardian, right? Chi uku, okay? This is an example of a portmanteau, the parts of multiple words and sounds combined in a new word, okay? Chi and uku, okay? Chi is the guardian spirit, and uku means big or great. So the great chi. Okay. Okaik, okay, Okiki, whatever it's called, right? The creator of laws. Obviously, this is not how I see it. Obviously, the magic card bitches put their 2 cents in it so they can feel empowered. Okay, you can't underestimate that. Anytime you see fucking non-martial artists being elevated in Igbo culture, know that it is magic card bitches. And even in this book, way after the fact, this professor of African American studies, he got his doctorate in African history from the University of California, or rather professor of African diaspora history. Okay. He says that war heroes were not allowed in the Igbo meetings, right? Haru hero. If you don't allow Haru in your meetings, you may as well all put on thongs and fucking suck on a pacifier or something because you're acting like bitches. Okay, anyway. So they basically marched into the creek singing in the Igbo language. The water spirit brought us. The water spirit will take us home. What are they talking about? Basically, you know, this is one version of the story. To make a long story short, they believed that God was going to protect them and take their souls back to where they belong, back to their tribe, and ultimately back to the source, to God. Okay, so the water spirit, who fucking cares? The water spirit, fuck the water. Okay, fuck the earth. It's all bitch shit. You know, it's like fucking I'm making a paper airplane. You say, the paper airplane will take me. Who fucking cares about the paper airplane? Okay, the creator is all that matters, obviously. Anyway, so the story goes they accepted the protection of their god Shuku and death over the alternative of slavery. Now, Roswell King, a white overseer on the nearby Pierce Butler plantation, wrote about it. Okay, Roswell, right? Roswell, Roswell King. Okay, the Masons love their wordplay. They love, you know, when this guy got killed at Ford Theater, driving a Lincoln, or wherever the fucking story with the assassin. They love that wordplay, bitch. Okay, they're wordplay, bitch. They're magic spell, bitch. They do some bitch shit, hidden in plain view, bitch. Magic spell, bitch. And they look back at it and say, read the story. Oh, isn't that cute? And act like bitches. They're cowards. They're pussies. You know, they're weaklings. They have no heart at all. Pussies. Just absolute disgrace. They shouldn't be talking about religion. They should be fucking in chains, getting beat up every day for their pussy. I'm sick of them. Anyway, moving on. William Maine says the Igbos walked into the marsh, 10 or 12 drowned, while some were salvaged by the bounty hunters that received $10 a head. Survivors were taken to Cannon's Point on St. Simons Island and Sapelo Island. All right, the nuance of the story varies, but they were took to the marsh. This goes back to martial arts, right? They chose to die for principle instead of wearing thongs and surviving, you know, as bitch, okay? Now, even this novel that was made praising the praise song for the widow was inspired by these events, and it was written by Paul Marshall. And obviously, you can connect the ringing in my ears to them messing up my speech. And you're a dumbass if you think I have a brain tumor. So I have 17 witnesses, but it's really a brain tumor, not the drugging. It's fucking stupid. I have one of these witnesses on record, mind you, on record, drinking different drinks, not knowing which one was drugged, okay? And remember, they opened the can themselves, right? This is not something that I poured in a glass or something. They opened the can themselves, okay? And I drank drinks in my refrigerator. She didn't know which one was drugged. And she magically happened to pick the same ones that were drugged, okay? To say, hey, you know, and then to describe the same symptoms. There's no way that's a coincidence, okay? They are drugging me. You're an idiot. There's no viable counter-argument to that. If you're an idiot if you don't see it that way. You don't recognize it's true. Okay, so Beyonce, that slut, she wrote her song, The Love Drought. And there was a scene that has to do with the Igbo landing, I'm told. Basically, evil and immoral cowardice are connected. Okay, they chose to have life with morality and love in death, and not to live without morality and love by people who didn't know morality and love, who thought it was okay to take people as slaves and thought it was okay to live in a culture. So you see, these Igbos put their well above the entire white community and their descendants. Why is that? I say it again. They put their well above the entire white community in America at the time and their descendants, which almost certainly bred with the other white people for the most part in America, right? Why? Because these people chose to live in a state of dishonor, okay? And some people chose to own slaves themselves, where these people chose death before dishonor. Death before dishonor is greater than choosing dishonor and continuing dishonor. And to this day, the white community continues in extreme disgrace, as they are the vast majority of people who are responsible for doing this to me. All right. So, the fine Muslim women propaganda example. Okay. Why are fine women joining ISIS while being shunned? Why is this magically happening? Oh, man, a bunch of people see themselves as magicians run society. And this is magically happening, and no one wants to admit why that is. Well, they want to say that this is helping the enemy, so we need to control attractive women more. Okay? They're using the fine women as a propaganda tool. Look at all these hot chicks going to join the Islamic State. This means romantic. ISIS is a deity of love, really a whore and an enchantress who should have been fucking everyone of her followers should have been shot in the fucking head. Anyway, moving on. So ultimately, this is part of why you see such a ridiculous amount of control on attractive women who are bred to be dumb bitches. Okay, America loves the trophy wives, and in order to have generations after generation of trophy wives, you have to breed dumb, attractive women. It's that simple. Okay, attractive females are dumb bitches as a result. So again, culture, cultivation, right? It's connected. Obviously, it is a reproduction war. This cannot be won in favor of Ra, life is not worth living. This is kind of a no-brain kind of stuff that fucking I have to go over all the time to increase the chances that somewhere, somehow, someone will hear it and get it. So the alpha leader earned the right to lead, and his son's birthright, right? What is right, right? They earned their inheritance, okay? Well, right? Obviously, the secret society guys, a lot of them want to destroy inheritance unless it works in their favor. They're bitches, okay? They don't want to give the true king of kings his rightful place. They know. And obviously, everyone else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to everyone else after I die, right? They're all doing the wrong thing, right? They all deserve to be punished. You know, if they lose the chance to get right with God, fuck, who cares what happens to them? They're supposed to go to hell anyway. They're their own Bible. All these, you know, this predominantly Christian nation, they don't understand that after you've cut yourself off from God deliberately and scientifically as large groups of people, and no one has the heart to stand with them, that you deserve to go to hell. When Matthew 10, Jesus says, put God first. Okay, if you find your life, you'll lose it. You chose to find your life, you deserve to go to hell according to your own fucking book. Okay, and then the 1% of Americans that are Muslim, according to theirs. The Jews, according to theirs. They all deserve to go to hell according to their own philosophy. This is part of what Satanism is about, to get you to understand what wrong is and then to get you to do wrong anyway. Okay, it's kind of like Lucifer falling. Lucifer was a bitch, okay? Falling out of grace with God. Oh, he's a bitch. He had no heart. He was a coward, okay? It's not very hard to serve God all your life when life is short. It's like I tell you to do something. Hey, for 3 seconds, I want you to not be a fucking sinner, and you're a sinner. You're a bitch. Fuck, we talking about here. Anyway. You see, society doesn't argue that they don't have to pay taxes. They don't argue that. Okay? There's no being non-active, right? A small group of people argue that. If you don't argue that, then how can you say that you're neutral? You're not. You're supporting evil. Evil has forced them to take sides, and they've taken evil side. And it goes back to the wordplay around trap. Trap, part, rape T, pair T, and P, ear T. Remember, T is the female ending, are connected. And I'll put some G stuff at the end, so you know, for those of you who are confused about the wordplay. Remember, the portmanteau also proves my point in more than one way about the wordplay. Portman. T-E-A-U, right? We have the T, feminine suffix, feminine ending, E-A being inky, and you have U, and then you have the port and the man, right? Teammate, transport, ownership, right? Who, you know, you're on board, and who owns you, right? Deal, scrambled lead, pact with the devil, pace, T, right? You're doing it at their rate, right? It's not only you're wrong, you're doing it at their rate, okay? You've agreed to do it their way at their rate, right? It's right there in the word pact, pace, right? Pace, T, the female ending, feminine suffix.